Hello, everyone. So, this is kind of like a Fat Talk Roundup, which we're going to do before we go off on our 2 week Fat Logic, Fat Acceptance, Fat Liberation content fast. And so the format's going to be a little bit different because this is the way TikTok presents it on my laptop when you're not scrolling through just one individual creator. No creator had enough for me to do a whole video just on them. So we're just going to kind of touch on a few things here. Feminist Land Whale had one. Marissa had like 3. Splotchmaker had one from earlier this month that I think was worth addressing. And then Fat Fab Feminist has one that I kind of want to address, but I'm not sure if it's it's old at this point, and I'm not sure if it's worth it, and the point is kind of tangential to what she's actually doing in the video. And there's some debate about, with that particular one, she's doing what she wants, just kind of leave her alone. So that one, I'm not sure if we're going to cover or not, but we'll start with the most recent, which is Feminist Land Whale, and then Marissa's TikToks.
Intuitive eating for an overweight person is like intuitive drinking for an alcoholic. You got fat by trusting your intuition. It doesn't work. If you like to know how I got to be this big, I would love to tell you because it's not that at all. The reason I am the weight that I am today is because since I was about 6 years old, I've been on and off of diets. I'm 21 now, so that's 15 years. I've been on and off of diets for 15 years, repeatedly losing weight and then gaining even more back, and then losing it and gaining even more back. It's weight cycling, babe. That's why I'm as big as I am today. If I had learned growing up to trust my own hunger cues, I probably wouldn't be as big as I am today, but I'm fine. I'm chilling.
So that's not really how that works. So dieting alone isn't going to, as far as I know, doesn't damage your metabolism enough for this kind of weight gain. If it damages your metabolism at all, which I'm not sure it does, like maybe crash dieting could end up there, but I don't get the feeling that that's what that was. Weight cycling does not lead to just inevitably bigger weight gains. Non-compliance with a lifestyle change and creating better habits is what's going to lead to that weight gain. Chances are, and we can totally look over some of your eat-in-a-days at some point. I don't feel like doing that today, but she does plenty of what I eat in a days, and I'm sure we can find where her calories are if we watch a few of those. So maybe we'll come back to that at some point if she continues to harp on this. I don't know if I want to do it later because we are going to go on a 2-week fast for fat content. Let's see, the binge, starve, cycle did a number on my body, getting sober, getting therapy, intuitive eating. Okay, I'm not saying that intuitive eating doesn't help some people, but I do think that Feminist Land Whale probably has some messed up hunger cues because of her weight. But also, why do people still think fatness is inherently bad? I don't necessarily. Here's the thing. A lot of people, this person isn't making a negative point, and he's not demonizing her as a fat person. He's saying that intuitive eating isn't going to help your situation. If you're happy being fat, you're happy being fat, and perhaps there is some argument to be made that this is unwanted diet advice and that he should have just kept his opinions to himself. But to that, I say this is the internet. Welcome to the internet. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's going to share it. And if you're on a public profile, then that's what's going to happen. I fully expect that to happen with me. That's why I do not I keep the identifiers of myself lower. So that way I'm not easy to find in real life. It's also why I don't show my face.
Hi. Did you know that my goal in life is to not be healthy? It's to actually live life, you know? Also, I don't have a victim complex. You guys dehumanize fat people. And you actively dehumanizing someone, you're making us the victim by what you're doing. You are making us a victim. So it's not a complex. And if you want me to stop having a victim complex, then stop dehumanizing fat people.
Duh.
So yeah, back to the other point. I am healthy, and two, my goal in life is to not be healthy. Because not everybody is capable of it. And guess what? My life happens regardless of whether or not I'm healthy. So stop adding moral value to everybody based on their health. It's fat phobic and ableist, and you're harming people. Bye. Hi.
So my mouse was freaking the fuck out. And it was just like clicking for no reason. So it like liked and unliked her video like 4 fucking times. I don't know why it kept doing that. But I had to listen to this video 4 fucking times before it would actually play through the whole goddamn thing and my mouse would stop clicking on its own. I don't know what the fuck that was about. But anyway, so there's a couple of things to unpack there. That whole argument of my goal is to be unhealthy because not everyone is capable of it. Okay, but you, from what I can tell, are perfectly capable of being healthy. And when people say you should work on being healthy, they're not really taking into consideration like chronic illnesses. That's not what they mean. They mean putting your best effort towards a healthy lifestyle to not create self-inflicted illnesses such as, I mean, sometimes this happens regardless of your best efforts, but by and large, you can do things to prevent things like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and type 2 diabetes. Also, to a degree, you can prevent joint pain. There's, as you get older, there's less preventative measures that you can take, but that's, I'm working on not being, and I'm sorry for my dog. I think there's someone at the door. Fine, you don't owe anyone health. That's fine, but you do have a victim complex. You 100% do, and you said, well, then you're the one that's dehumanizing fat people. Stop doing that and we'll stop being victims. But that's not really the case, because we've seen with the fat acceptance and fat liberation movement that they will apply thought crimes to people to be victimized, and Marissa is no exception here. She'll say that a completely like benign comment somehow attacking her, or one of my favorites, meaning the most infuriating fucking thing that she does, is when people are like, well, you know, you could do this or that and it would probably be better for you, and she makes it a consent issue and makes it sound like a form of assault to give her unwanted advice. That is a victim complex, and you victimizing yourself and you belittling true victims of sexual assault. But I was hoping to, okay, good, no, we can actually finally look at the comments. Time to look inward, maybe take some time offline. Your content is really disgusting. Well, actually, she makes a response to this, so we'll see that in just a moment. I don't think it's hard to just not be mean. I'm not being mean. You're condescending and fucking rude. Oh my god, not either people commenting. Okay, girly. We see how you act. Telling you that you have a victim complex is a frank look at your behavior, not fat phobia. You see how I act? Do you have cameras in my apartment or something? You put out plenty on social media. What you put out on social media can be a complete look at you as a person, because this is you putting out. What you put out on social media, by and large, is some form of edited version of yourself. Some people are less edited than others, but we all edit ourselves to a degree before we put stuff online, and this can be actually through video like editing, but this can also just be in our manner of speech and how we act. I make a point, there are times when people like Marissa frustrate me and I call them rude ass bitches. I edit that out because I recognize that it's an ad hominem argument and it diminishes my point. That is me editing myself. I make a point not to say it at all, but there are sometimes when people really piss me off and I call them a name. And I edit those portions out because I recognize that it's not helpful. So what you put out is what you believe shines favorably on you to some degree. Whether you realize it or not, what you put out is you, and it can be favorably on you in that you feel that it validates the sense of victimhood that you have. You can feel that it shines well on you in that you feel like you're standing up for something. Anything like that can be, but in some way you think that what you put out online is favorable towards you. No one puts out something specifically to make people hate them unless that has its own level of gain for them in some way, be it views or money. But no one puts out content simply to be hated with no benefit attached to it. So, yes, this is how you act, and this is probably the most charitable version of how you act. This is probably the most charitable version of you that we will get, and I find that very sad. But let's see what some of the other comments are. We see stuff you put online. You should watch Funty Times video on you. She breaks down why your channel is dying. People don't like your repulsive persona. You aren't educating. You're cussing out minimum wage workers. That is in response to she's had a couple videos recently where she went to, I think it was Tim Hortons, or a couple of other fast food places, or like that, I think it was a bike shop or something, where she was cussing someone out online. I don't think she necessarily did to her face, although I wouldn't put it past her to cuss them out to her face. She said that she told the person at Tim Hortons to fuck off because they didn't have food for her. Like, she does cuss out minimum wage workers. I did that once a year ago. Actually, from what I saw, it wasn't a full year ago. It was like 6 months or something, but regardless. Right, because someone watching someone who needs to demean others online for views is going to help anyone. My channel isn't dying and I don't care to watch a video of someone dehumanizing me. And that's another problem with Marissa, is that she thinks every form of criticism is dehumanization. It doesn't seem that she can separate people criticizing her actions with people criticizing her. Because a lot of people start out... Oh, and she said that she did it a year ago when she was depressed and suicidal. I'm not gonna touch that with a 7-foot pole right now, because I don't want to get into a fight with anyone over it. This is what we mean by victim complex, because you immediately jump to dehumanization. Dehumanization is a fairly strong word, and I realize I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but dehumanization is a very strong word that she uses entirely too liberally for my liking. I understand that sense of feeling dehumanized. It's like, I understand how dehumanization, like, it does happen. I think her equating criticism with dehumanization is a gross overstep. People can dehumanize you, but just because they're saying you're rude is not dehumanization. Just because they're saying you put out toxic content and you need to take a break, that's not dehumanization. She's not demeaning, she's bringing down this harmful creator for those of us who see it and are disturbed. Then be disturbed by me, but leave me alone and do it from afar. You're just annoying at this point. Then stop responding, Marissa, if it bugs you that much. When your content requires shitting OB someone else, maybe you need to rethink your content. I'm very curious about this thread now. Hearsay, seriously though, not you don't like her content, block her. You'd be doing yourself, the creator, and everyone in the comments a favor. How they're not talking about your body. How is someone saying someone has a victim complex fat phobic? Because they wouldn't be saying that stuff if I wasn't fat. No, this has nothing to do... Oh my goodness. No, this has nothing to do with your fatness, sweetheart. This has to do with you putting yourself in a victim role while you're attacking others. Okay, thanks for telling me. Keep rocking it. Yeah, people treat others worse than already have a bias about them. Look at any ism in society and you'll see it. Shut the fuck up. Y'all are so fucking hypocritical. I swear, you treat fat people like shit, call them unhealthy when they're not, and expect smiles. No go. We're gonna move on to the next one.
See, like, I don't get this. My content is literally me existing and living my life. Now, what warrants that? That you think that I need to go and look inward when I'm literally just existing and living my life? Oh, wait. It's your fat phobia. It's the fact that you don't even see me as a fucking human being. It's the fact that you hate looking at fat people who are living their lives. And you hate seeing fat people be happy and joyful. The only person who needs to look inward is you. Because you are projecting your fat phobia onto me. And to other fat people, I'm assuming. Me making dance videos, me doing my art, me cooking, that does not mean that I need to take some time and go offline. If you think I need to go offline, then why don't you stop looking at my page? Why don't you go offline? Because I'm not the problem here. My body is not the problem here. Your disgust with it is. So thanks. Bye! See, like, I don't...
See, once again, she makes this all into her about her being fat. She says her content is just her existing, but we know for a fact that that's not true. We've seen many rants on her channel about her perceived victimhood. That's not just her existing. She's creating an issue that isn't there. And when people try to, there's been some people that have tried to gently correct her or point out how this isn't really victimization, and then she turns it into dehumanization, and she makes it all about her being fat. I think given what we've seen from her YouTube channel, I think she was probably picked on for her weight a lot as a kid, because the Marissa we saw on the YouTube was not this abrasive. But now I think that she has, like, she says, you know, she's fat and fine and she's perfectly happy. Clearly she's not. But I think she is now blaming her fatness. She is blaming her fatness due to others' reactions to her fatness for all of her problems, without looking at how incredibly rude and abrasive she is, and how she dehumanizes others, and how she is, depending on the person. There have been a couple of times when she said some things that were downright cruel. I don't think Marissa's ever going to change. I think she's too caught up. I think when you're this caught up in your own sense of victimhood and righteousness, you're too deep in the fog to see any other point of view. Marissa, to a degree, fascinates me because she is so fixated on other people being against her. And to a certain extent, this can be seen as a trauma response. It could be trauma relating to when she was a kid. But clearly she needs some counseling. She needs some help. But let's move on to her final video, and then we'll move on to the others.
Let's talk about something that annoys me. And that is other people projecting their own moral compass onto others. And that other person would be me. And you know why that is annoying? Because things that have happened in the past, things that I've done in the past, things that I've taken responsibility for, or don't care to take responsibility for because I don't see them as wrong, but like I've moved on from them, you know? Like they're not in my present sphere of me living my life, right? So the thing that annoys me is when other people keep on bringing like shit up that I've done in the past, like things that I did once, a long time ago, we're talking more than a year ago, and just people bring it up for fun. Like, okay, yeah, I did that and I've moved on. I have way more compassion for myself than you clearly do for yourself. Like, that's not my problem. You're mad at my actions? Cool. I've moved on from my actions. And I don't do those same actions. So what the fuck is your problem? Let's talk about something that annoys me. And that...
So here's the thing. I think she's made something like this before. It wasn't this video. It was another video probably a couple weeks ago. It's saying basically the same thing. This one, I think, is in response to that video with her screaming at a Tim Hortons employee. And then the other one was in regards to when she said that fatphobic people should be put on an island with rapists and pedophiles. And the thing is that she's like, I've moved on from my actions. Okay, but your actions, because you put those thoughts and you put those actions out to others, you have, especially with the Tim Horton employee, you inflicted harm. So great that you forgive yourself for it, but how did you apologize to the Tim Horton employee that you screamed at and told to fuck off? Did you, like, self-compassion is all well and good, but when you can't recognize and try to make amends for the hurt that you inflicted on others, people are still going to have a problem with it. That bit about fat phobic people being on par and should be on an island with the rapists and pedophiles was deeply disturbing. And while you may not find a problem with it and you don't have to apologize, you don't feel like you have to apologize, you don't think you did anything wrong, that's fine. That's fine if you stand by your actions. I don't think you should, but if you do, that's you. That's fine. Whatever. But the thing is that doesn't mean that everything mysteriously goes away for other people. Don't put it out online because then it's there forever. Don't expect people to look past it just because you do. Alright? Look at fucking Brooke Houts. She tried to come on Twitter a couple of times and people were like, stay the fuck off line, you animal abuser. And to a certain extent, I understand, and I may or may not have commented on one of her posts. I don't think I was cruel to her. I certainly did not tell her to harm herself in any way, but I did call her out on her bullshit apology, and that she clearly, and I expressed some serious judgment of her, that she tried to come back like nothing happened. And has yet to take full responsibility for her actions. And the reason why people are upset by that is because you did wrong. Whether you think you did wrong or not is kind of beside the point when it comes to social media and the court of public opinion. Other people judging your actions is what matters, and if you don't like that, then stop posting online. Since this is our last Fat Logic video for a couple of weeks, I'm going to go ahead and just do everything and let it be a little larger than I normally would. So, fat phobia in academia. This is the splotchmaker one that I wanted to cover.
Another instance of fat phobia. I was trying on my bachelor's graduation gown. Doesn't zip. I'm a size 26. No refunds. No exchanges. It comes in one size. You just go by height. I even sized up a height. But anyway, yeah, no refunds, no exchanges, so I'm just out like $35, $40. And now I have to buy a third party. There is a cat hunting a bird outside of my window, and it is so cute. But anyway, this is really fucking annoying. It's basically just saying fat people don't belong in academia. We're not included in seat sizing. Fat people don't go to college. Fat people don't graduate. And again, I'm only a size 26. How many other people got this last minute and just didn't have a gown? People will minimize this as they minimize everything to do with fat issues. But these things show we aren't thought of. We aren't considered.
So, yes, I am going to minimize it. Honey, no one is considered. They mass buy that shit. Here's the thing. If you're going to, like, a big university, and I learned this with the university that I went to. I can't say where because it's going to be too identifying. But I went to that university for the undergraduate program and for a master's program. The undergraduate program, especially if you were in a liberal arts one, because I went for it was technically English. Big mistake. Don't even look at me. I understand, but it's too late now. So I went to that university for English, and we had to share the same building with the gender studies majors. We were one of the only majors to not have a student lounge for people in that major. We were one of the only majors to not have its own building, and not only did we share it with the gender studies people, but we got the jankiest ass building. Like, it was not built the way normal buildings are built. You could only get to, so it was like, this was such a strange building, and I'm actually kind of nervous about saying too much about it, because it's a very identifying building. But it's made up of multiple towers, and in order to get to the fourth floor, so let's say there's 4 towers. A, B, C, and D. Okay? And I need to get to the 3rd floor of the C building. In order to get to the 3rd floor of the C building, I had to go up the first flight of stairs in the A building, cross over the bridge to the B building, go up to the 3rd floor of the B building, and then cross 2 bridges back over to the C building, because the C building was on the opposite side of the A building. That was how you had to navigate that fucking building. Alright, it fucking sucked. So here's my general point being that if you are not a STEM major, and you are an undergrad, the university doesn't give a fuck. Alright? They don't give a fuck about you. You're not making them money. They don't care. Alright, I went for a more STEM-oriented, because I went for information science. I went for information science in a graduate program, so they were going to make more money off me. And fucking nice new building, nice, like the best lunch because with the undergrad it was like it might as well have been Kraft mac and cheese. That's the kind of food that we had. But for the master's program, it was this wonderful chicken dish with herbs and veggies, and it was delicious. But my point being is that yes, that gown that you have, it looks cheap, and it was $40 because they mass buy it. They don't care. All right, this has nothing to do with you being fat. This has to do with you being an undergrad, likely in a humanities department, so they don't give a fuck. All right, they don't care. The university isn't making much money off those gowns. It's something that they have to provide, so they go with the cheapest option that they can get, that they think people will actually pay for. They don't care. It's not about you being fat. It's not about them saying that they think fat people don't go to college or don't exist. That they don't give a fuck. You know why fat people aren't considered for seeing and stuff? Because those buildings are fucking old. They were built when people in general were thinner. And you think the university is going to spend their money on seating when deans can get higher pay and they can add more shit to their sports departments and their science departments? Fuck no. They're not going to spend money on changing seating. It's not about fat people. It's a matter of if the university wants to be competitive in a STEM space and if they have a well-known athletics team. Like, they just don't fucking care. Like, it's not because you're fat. It's because you probably had a humanities degree. I'm curious to see what her comments are. Thanks for speaking out about this. It's not something I realized. I graduated in 2019. It was my height then too. Didn't realize how exclusive it is. I would literally just leave it open and stunt on everyone in a hot dress. It's when you hit the dispute button at your bank. This is literally one of the reasons I chose not to walk for my graduation. To be honest, I didn't walk. So I first got an associate's degree, didn't walk for that. I then got my bachelor's degree in English, didn't walk for that. The end of this summer, I should have my master's. And I don't plan on walking for that one because I fucking hate the school that I chose. This is the school program that I'm in now, and I wish I could tell you guys to warn you away from this program, but it is fucking janky ass. It's so bad. It is so bad. It's not well managed at all. They do not give you all the information. It's so bad. I am not proud to be part of this school. I don't like this school. They're lucky they're fucking accredited. Because, like, I'm actually kind of surprised that they're accredited. In all honesty, I'm hoping that their accreditation doesn't come into dispute when I get my degree. They're cheap. That's the one thing I'll give them. They're a cheaper school, and that's probably why coursework isn't challenging in the slightest. Like, I had more challenging from a more reputable university in undergrad than I did from this program. So all I have left is my capstone, and we shall see how that goes. Let's see. Can you use anyone on campus size trade? I didn't even try mine. Sorry. Blah, blah, blah. So dumb. Okay. So looking at the last one, this is Fat Fab Feminist. This is very much tangential to what is actually covered in the video, but I just feel the need to comment on it.
I know my fat ass is in the target audience, but god damn! God damn! Oh, he's so sick.
So I find it interesting, and I actually ended up checking out some of Trevor Wagner's content. He's kind of a himbo that loves anime and his dog. And clearly, like, at bodybuilding, I guess. I find it interesting, and I've seen her in a couple of videos for his content, you know, saying about how much she adores him. And I find it interesting, given how much that they talk about how it's fatphobic to not find fat women attractive, you should be attracted to fat women. But whenever you see them drooling over someone, it's always Trevor Wagner is particularly fit. Like, he is exceptionally well built. He is not the average man, much less a fat man. He is very muscular. Not saying I don't understand how she finds him attractive. I do. But I find it a little hypocritical when they're like, you should find fat women attractive, fat women are desirable, fat people are desirable, blah, blah, blah. But then you see them thirsting over these more athletic and understandably, like, standardly attractive people. It's just something I thought was interesting, and I'm curious. Sarah, if you want to put those also to the test, about my math, 2-minute catch, okay. Honestly, I assume any man who doesn't want me is intimidated because they know they aren't strong enough to properly handle the equipment, okay. No, for real, did you see the video party? You are definitely watch his most recent man's out there picking up yeah, he's very strong. There were a couple of videos where people are like, hey, I'm 210, there's no way you could pick me up, and he shows that he's lifting like his two friends that are like 170 pounds or something like that. So, and it looks like most of her comments are just thirsting after Trevor. So, I don't know, perhaps I'm being a little nitpicky about it, but I get so tired of the fat women and fat people are desirable thing, but yet whenever you see them thirsting over someone, it's never a fat man. It's never another fat person. It's, they'll stand in solidarity, like with that Sports Illustrated model. Like, they'll be like, no, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. But then you see them, what they thirst after, and it's always the really athletic, the really, like, muscle-defined people. I don't know. I just thought it was a little... There's some hypocrisy lurking in there, and I just felt the need to comment on it. So, not super entertaining, and I realized that I talked a lot in this video, and I apologize for that. Quick updates. It's a 3-day weekend, and I'm so excited for it. I need it. I've been managing teenage emotions for the past 2 weeks, and I need a break. So, there's that. I'm back down to 186. I'm so excited. I'm so fucking excited. I'm 1 pound away from being out of the obese BMI category. I'm super excited about that. And I've been reading a shit ton of manga after I watched a bunch of anime series. And I'm like, oh, I like this. Oh, there's a manga. I want to read it. So I'm going to just give a quick rundown. Maid-sama just started it. Not enjoying the manga as much as I did the anime, but hoping that it picks up once I pass where the anime left off. Snow White with the red hair. I really like the characters in it. The characters are why I keep reading. But I gotta be honest, the story overall seems a little bland. Kami-sama Kiss. Oh my god. Oh my god. I love Kami-sama Kiss so fucking much. But, so I watched season 1, season 2, and the 4 OVAs. Wish I hadn't watched the 4 OVAs. Because, actually really wished, if I could go back and before I experienced any Kami-sama anything, I would read the manga before I watched the anime. And if you have not seen either of the series, read the manga before you watch the anime. The anime is still very good, but it's the chopped version of the manga. It has plenty of charm all of its own, but things move at a much like faster pace and we lose full arcs. Kami-sama Kiss, the manga, is so much better. And how the fuck did they... Like, I can't wait to see, because I just finished volume 13. And apparently, like, the next 12 volumes or whatever are what were in the OVAs, meaning there has to be a shit ton of stuff that had been cut, and I'm excited about that. But if I could go back again, I would read all of Kami-sama Kiss, the manga, first before I saw the anime. Devil's Line is a hidden fucking gem. It's really interesting. It plays out like it's going to be this vampire romance, but then there's this whole, like, dirty cop element to it that, like, and this cover-up and shit. It's so cool. I'm really excited. I only read the first 2 volumes of the manga. We're not fully caught up to the anime yet. The anime was only 1 season long with the most disappointing fucking ending I've seen in an anime. Like, it just was not... Yeah. And then finally, I'm reading Assassination Classroom manga. But the anime was, like, really well adapted to the manga, so, like, there isn't a whole lot that I'm seeing so far. I'm about to start volume 5. And so far, like, things have been almost word for word what was in the anime. And I'm kind of starting to wonder, I'm like, should I continue reading this? Is it just going to be like a complete one-to-one with what happened in the anime? But I feel 25 volumes covered only in 2 seasons. There had to have been like some stuff left out, so I'm hoping that I see more that way. And I think that's about all I have for you guys this week. We'll be covering some r/relationships, maybe some petty revenge, maybe some pro-revenge, maybe some more am I the asshole, maybe choosing beggars. I'm not sure yet, but we're going to take a little bit of break from the Fat Acceptance, Fat Liberation content for just a couple of weeks. That way we are hungry and ready for the Haze reading group. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.